Howdy folks, hope you're faring well. We've got a little respite from the heat and humidity here. The low was 55 degrees this morning. Thought about getting out and maybe shooting a round or two, but everything's drier than a tinderbox outside, and I figured if I fired off the muzzleloader, I'd probably start a forest fire in the holler, burn everything down for miles. So I thought I'd talk to you a little bit about one of my favorite subjects. I've talked about it before, but I think it bears talking about it again, and that's the rifles of East Tennessee, Western North Carolina. Rifles of the Smoky Mountains in general, that area. They were usually smaller caliber, 32, 36, 40, but there would have been a few examples of larger calibers. This one I have here is a custom built bean style Tennessee mountain rifle or hog rifle that I had built. It's got a 42-inch 50 caliber barrel, which I catch a lot of grief on that. Some people say, well, when they had a 50 caliber, one thing they would have built what they had, or they might have had a smaller caliber, say a 40, 45, that it rusted out, shot out, that they would have had a gunsmith, blacksmith to have rebored it to the next larger caliber, say 50 caliber. And there were black bears in those mountains, but these rifles were typically slender because of the weight, the rugged territory over there. You know, and mentioning using what they had, you know, that was rugged country, and it still is today for that matter. And they would have built from parts that they could get, materials they had readily available, and would have made a rifle that they could use. Now typically they did use smaller calibers, mainly because, as you know, if you shot muzzleloaders, it takes less powder and lead to operate a 32 caliber than it does a 50 caliber. But there again, you have to be mighty particular on your shots with a 32 caliber on something as large as a 300 pound, 400 pound black bear. But they would have used them as a tool. They didn't look upon it as anything else but a tool. And that's the way I look at them today. And a lot of people love the highly carved, highly inlaid, decorated rifles, and I like those too, but for my particular purposes, I'd rather have just a plain old gun. And a lot of these guns, this one has a nose cap on it. I had it built that way, and it also has a toe plate and a butt plate, but a lot of times those rifles didn't even have a butt plate on them. They were just a stock, a lock and barrel, so to speak, because maybe that's all the money they had to have the blacksmith or gunsmith build for them. So they would have used what to get their hands on, basically. And they lived a hard life, and they didn't have a lot of money. Most of their money was trading what they had, what they'd grown or what they'd made, to somebody else for what they needed. Anyway, that's a subject of it. Like I say, it's near and dear to my heart. And there's a lot of information you can find out there on the builders, the Beans, the Gillespies. And of course, they were just what I call blacksmith guns. Somebody had a blacksmith shop that was good enough at building parts that you had to do it, that will put one together. Anyway, if you're interested in that kind of thing, look around and research, and there's a lot of books on the subject as well. But just something I felt like talking about today. And as always, I appreciate you watching. God bless you. Keep your powder dry. Mind your top knot, Pilgrim.